golf YouTube is already pretty close to the viewers of the PGA Tour. Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports, brought to you by our great friends at Chevy, chevy.com/electric. Go check out the electric vehicles that they have been dominating for over a decade. We got the whole squad. We got 3 loyal Colors Don't Run members, myself, Frankie, and Trent. And we've got one man who has exercised traitorous characteristics, Dan Rappaport. If you have not seen, I don't want to spoil it, but we had a matchup in a battle of wits on the dozen trivia here at barstoolsports.com. And it was our team, the Foreplay team, kind of an umbrella team of our operation here. And then another team, which was Captain Cons, Dan Rappaport, and Smokes. And people should watch that. I highly recommend. It's a great show. It's a really good show.
Listen, I want everyone out there who's listening to put themselves in my position. Okay, you get told you're going to get an opportunity, and a whole year passes, and it wasn't even like, oh, maybe you'll do this one. It was never even a consideration to put me in the lineup. So at some point, you have to look out for number one.
Yeah, no, it was definitely traitorous. It was stunning to see you on the other side, similar to Riggs at the Whistling Straits Ryder Cup. I would say a little bit cut from the same cloth, you two. So at the end of the day, just Trent and I just stay grounded to the Foreplay name, to the United States name. And you guys are all out there just trying to find the best solutions for you two. And it sometimes doesn't work out for you guys. That's 2 L's you guys took by just not staying with your team.
So you spoiled it. You just spoiled it.
What?
People could say, it's been a few days now.
It was like a figurative L.
Wait a minute. The video came out already.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely came out.
So no spoilers. Okay.
Like a week ago. I mean, at this point, and in the dozen world, that's 3 days is forever.
I feel like I proved to the world that I am capable of being at least like a 6th man who gets in the game, not like a 12th man on the bench for your team. But, if you guys don't want to recognize my talent, that's fine.
You're a good trivia player. You definitely know your stuff, but we're never going to have you on the team. We have our 3.
And that's what I figued.
I mean, the thing is, I think we
the quiet part out loud.
We thought that maybe there'd be days that we one guy couldn't make the team, make the game or something, and you would fill in. But we've figured out that Jeff just if we can't make it, he just schedules it for another day. So you're just never going to get in. So
that's right.
If I can't, I was in Italy, he's like, we'll just go back. We'll play this match in 4 weeks. I was like, wow. Okay.
So knowing that, you want me to just not play the dozen?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. In terms of you're testing your loyalty to Foreplay, that would probably be the best answer for you.
I think you should play the dozen. I think you're really good. You were very good at it.
Dude, Kyle Timms, we made this guy's life. Did you guys see his tweet yesterday?
No. Are you in a place that you can't speak loudly?
I'm in the lobby of my building because we're moving out of my apartment and there's hammers and everything going out. So yes.
When we throw to you, it sounds like NPR.
It sounds like we're doing the Corn Ferry Tour broadcast again and you're greenside.
It had to be addressed.
Yeah, Norman Jong is a fucking asshole. I hate him. Norman Jong got his PGA Tour card, by the way.
Congratulations.
Kyle Timms, so I guess is like the biggest. Kyle Timms is like a proper stoolie. Kyle Timms, one of our editors, like a proper day one Barstool guy. And he sent me a message after my first dozen match, was like, great debut. He's like, if you ever need someone, he goes, if you ever need someone in movies or TV, I'm automatic. And I said, okay, that's strong. So we got a TV question. I didn't know the answer. I called him. He kind of flirted with not answering because he's a big Foreplay loyalist. Finally answers. And then he tweets yesterday going, being a day one dozen trivia fan, this was a seminal moment of my Barstool career and possibly my entire life. What a moment. He drilled it, by the way.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah, I mean, he essentially just got brought into his favorite TV show, which is pretty exciting for most people. That was a big moment for him. The guy has not missed a match. He sits there and does all the answers with every single match, and he answers them to himself. And finally, somehow, some way, his phone rang and he was inside his favorite show.
He is also a guy, Kyle Timms, which is the right kind of guy that you want, that you should be. He gets incredibly excited about just things and little things. And when he got brought on the filming shoot when we played Billy Horschel at TBC Sawgrass, he was over the moon to just be there, to not be where he usually is and be there. When he got permission, which he doesn't need, to go to the Kirk Minahan live show in Plymouth, he was over the moon that he got to go do that. When he got to play golf, I think for the first time ever, like a week or two ago with the other production crew, he was over the moon. It was the best day of his life. And then he gets a 45-second appearance on the dozen where he just answers a question, which he did hesitate when he goes, wait, you're playing foreplay? And he did some serious quick calculations in his own brain of whether he should answer or not. That's a guy that gets incredibly excited about moments. That's just what you want. You don't want somebody
Kyle's a
dull
foxhole guy.
and down
He's a foxhole guy.
and even go.
Oh,
So yeah, those are the kind of guys you want in our corner. That's a big part of the reason that we've been successful. So Kyle Timms, just keep doing what you're doing. So yeah, if you haven't watched that, go watch it. Obviously a little bit spoiled at this point, but like Frankie said, it's been 3 days or whatever the hell it's been. You got to have a vehicle. You just got to have a vehicle. Everybody needs one. You move around. It's a great invention, amazing invention. Been doing it for over 100 years at Chevy. And now they've been doing for over a decade the electric vehicles. They got all kinds of great models. The Silverado, which we've been in, we've driven it around. The Bolt, the Blazer, a bunch of really, 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 really good stuff. I saw a couple commercials. What's the new one that just kind of I saw? Chevy.com/ there was, it was like it looked like a Blazer, but it was like, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but I will say I was home. I was in California for a wedding the other week, and I saw gas prices there over $6 a gallon, which is just it's not okay. So you got to get an electric. You just have to do it.
This Equinox is sweet. This Equinox EV I'm looking at is sweet. I'm on Chevy.com/electric. It's got like that matte blue, this Equinox that they got on there. But point is, these things are really, really, really good. They look very sleek. They're electric. And they're just where you need to be. You can't be having these big gas guzzlers like Dan just mentioned. The gas prices, you're pretty much at the will of whomever is controlling gas prices all over the place, and oil, which you don't want to be. We're eventually going to run out of it. So electric vehicles, that's what's in the energy assist feature with Chevy.com/electric and all their electric vehicles. Intelligently plans your routes, tells you where and how long to charge up, gives you real-time data about charging station availability, which they've got over 100,000 of those bad boys around the United States and Canada. So we love Chevy. We love the electric vehicles. We have for a long time. They support us big time, and they've got really clean, amazing electric vehicles. So do yourself a favor. Make sure you just go at least look at Chevy.com/electric and learn more about Chevy and their electric vehicles. All right, YouTube, reminder, we got a whole new channel on YouTube. We did a lot of YouTube talk on the last show. Huge part of our business, huge part of the future. I want to talk a lot about this whole, I think, a great clip from our guy Alex Bush that got a lot of people talking, which was a great question by Frankie, which was kind of asking Grant Horvat, who really came up in this YouTube golf world, of where do you see the future of golf YouTube, what's like a bold prediction? And he said, I'll go hot take bold prediction that I think golf YouTube can and might be bigger than PGA Tour golf at some point in the next 3 years or whatever. Great clip, got people talking. I did a bunch of research on that because I found it really compelling. So I do want to get into that, but YouTube in general, we got a new channel specifically for the podcast. So again, if you're one of these loyal is kind of the keyword of the day. So sorry about that, Dan, but if you're one of these loyal viewers of the show who watches the show exclusively on YouTube, you want to see the whole deal, go to the Foreplay podcast channel, and then everything else that we put out, all the videos that we put out, which the Mammoth Dune stuff is going right now. We did 2 different videos from the front 9. We got a video coming from the back 9. All that stuff's coming. Sand Valley, really, really cool place. All that's out on YouTube. And then we've got videos scheduled until like fucking Valentine's Day coming out on our YouTube channel that our guys are working on. So yeah, stay hot on the YouTube.
Yeah, I did some research myself because after talking to a guy like Grant Horvat, you obviously feel like you're almost in a different league than a guy like that with the good stuff on YouTube and his own channel, and the way that they're all in this like rotation of everyone plays on each other's channel, and like we don't really get in that world. And it's similar to how Dave says that he's like the biggest guy on the internet, but then he goes out to a bar with Josh Richards and like he's never seen that type of fame or like that type of interaction. Like this new younger world is insane. And it's a little scarier to us and the older podcasts and guys that just, are not growing up in that world. So I did a little bit of research myself, and we're fucking killing it. Like when you look at, I don't think I give myself or our brand enough credit. We're
I don't
working
think you do
with,
either. I think we're bigger than you think we are.
We are way smaller in subscribers than all of these other brands, right? You look at a Rick Shields, and he's got over 2 million subscribers every single time. We have 370,000, right? It's not even fucking close. Every single time he uploads a video, 2 million people get a notification being like, watch this video on YouTube, right? And he'll get 300, 400, 500,000 views on videos. And then you look at our channel from time to time, and it's been pretty consistent. We have 360,000 subscribers. We're getting on a breaking 90, 600,000 views and 450,000 views. And at Mammoth Dunes, a match, it's getting 260,000 views. So with that little subscriber number comparatively, we are exceeding all expectations compared to like what, and when you're talking notifications and you're talking about exposure and you're talking about how many times are people going to go on that app and see that name and see that thumbnail, we are a small fish somehow because we were late to the game on the YouTube game. We were late to the whole colors and like taking photographs and thumbnails and like really monetizing all of the stuff we do on YouTube. We put half our videos on barstoolsports.com for 5 years, all of our videos. So I just wanted to say like, it's a scary world on our end, but I do want to like wrangle it in a little bit and be like, man, people are watching this shit. You know, I don't have to always be in awe of like the other brands.
No, I don't think we're a little fish. I really don't. And I think that a lot of that is that we drive people to our videos through all of the other stuff that we've built over 7 years that are massive, that our podcast is very big and it's influential. And thanks to everybody that listens. Like our merchandise, and people see it in the store. Oh yeah, those are our guys, our live events, the Barstool Classic, our social channels, like all that stuff drives people more so probably than just strictly the subscriber base. But to get into this question, right, of could YouTube golf be comparable to the influence and the viewership of the PGA Tour? And I went through and looked at the PGA Tour. I went through the majors, and I went through some of the bigger normal events on the PGA Tour, and I went through the John Deere Classic, and I kind of checked the viewership of those tournaments. The Masters 2023 was the most watched golf final round in 5 years. It was John Rahm. Nobody really knows exactly why. It was obviously maybe John Rahm versus Brooks Koepka and the PGA Tour and LIV and the whole deal. It averaged 12 million viewers in the final round. PGA Championship was the lowest in 15 years, averaged 4.52 million viewers in the final round. The RBC Heritage was one of the biggest and averaged 4.1 million viewers in the final round. If you go look at the John Deere Classic, however, which I would say we all agree is on the lower end, can't get a top 50 player to save their life, the whole deal. The John Deere Classic 2023 final round had 1.59 million viewers average for the final round. The Memorial, 3.12 million. The Travelers Championship, 2.44 million. To compare that, Foreplay Golf, our biggest video that I could find is our Scramble versus Bob Does Sports, which has 3 million views. Our Kids Scramble, which is one of our other biggest videos, has 2.7 million views. When we put out a Breaking 90, which is the lowest production value, maybe not production value, production costs and overhead that you could possibly imagine, and it still comes out amazing, is like Frankie just said, 500,000, 600,000 viewers. It's literally like 4 people that go out there with a couple cameras. Frankie, Trent, couple producers filmed for 4 hours, done deal. If you go look at Good, their biggest video that I could find, the famous hole-in-one on a par 4, 4.6 million views. They posted a St. Andrews Major from like a week ago. It's got 900,000. That'll probably do a couple million views total. They got 2 random videos that came out in the last week, and I just mean they weren't like St. Andrews or a hole-in-one, just kind of normal videos from them. They're already got about 400,000 views. You got to think those will do 700,000 views. Rick Shields, who's probably the biggest thing on golf YouTube, his Tour Pro playing a public course, what'll it shoot? 6.4 million views that video has versus Dude Perfect when they do a match, 4.8 million views. Random videos the last couple of weeks average about 600, 700,000 so far. So the point is, Grant Horvat's prediction in my mind when I look at that is golf YouTube is already pretty fucking close to the viewers of the PGA Tour. Now, it's not like it's the same thing. It's not live. That's not like if you look at congruent viewers and we do a premiere at 2 p.m. or 7 p.m., it's several, thousand, maybe 10,000 people, whatever it is in real time versus that. So it's a totally different way of viewing it. But If you look at the PGA Tour, which has 200 something players, and the actual exposure and why it's so much more difficult for there to be true like stars that drive the entire game, that are recognizable, that have the Q rating outside of just being on TV. If you look at this, like a few million viewers, and they only win every couple months, maybe, versus if you've got a handful of brands in YouTube golf, we're in every one of those fucking videos. Grant Horvat is the guy in every one of his videos. Rick Shields is the guy in every one of his videos. So it's really not that crazy to look at it already and be like, in the golf world, some of the bigger YouTube golf stars and accounts are already pretty fucking close to what we see on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's number one. I think it's very generational. I think it breaks big time on generational lines. You know, our dads, our parents, even our friends are, you know, probably not the 6 million people who are watching the good videos. They skew much younger, which is a good thing. That's a very good thing. You definitely rather be in it with the kids than, you know, kind of hanging on to the 62-year-old demographic or whatever it is.
Grant said on the show, like talking about the good numbers, that their biggest demographic was like 21 to 36 or whatever.
Okay, well then we're wrong, but I mean that's still young. That's still a lot younger.
No, that shocked me. That like definitely shocked me.
Yeah, but that's still much younger than who watches the PGA Tour. I think the PGA Tour average viewer is like 60 years old or something crazy. No, that's an actual statistic, which is stunning. I remember that kept on getting brought up throughout all of like the LIV, all of the like LIV communications. They were like, their average viewer is 64. Like, we can beat them. Yeah, I mean it's free on the internet, so it's a lot different. And there's no like live component to it. Whereas the PGA Tour, they make a ton of money, and you know, people go to the tournaments and pay a bunch of money to go to the tournaments, and you know, they have a bunch. But yeah, I think what it's shown is that you don't have to be the best golfer in the world for people to want to watch you play golf. And I think that's been the biggest sort of discovery throughout the whole YouTube process is we all played with Grant Horvat recently. He's an incredible golfer. He's very good. So once you're past a certain threshold of being good enough where people like watching your game, then it's just a function of there's no expectation. No one's trying to see, oh, what is Grant Horvat? Is he better than this guy? Is he worse than this guy? It's just like, we like watching Grant Horvat play golf. And it's a different category in my mind than the PGA Tour, because the PGA Tour is about who is the best player in a given week, who is going to win the competition. When it comes to YouTube golf, it doesn't really matter how they play so much, because if they play good, they love it, and if they play bad, they want to see the next one and see them play better after.
Are you surprised that it feels like closer just on pure viewership?
Yeah, I am. And there's like the YouTube, that's an engaged audience. Like the 12 million people that are watching the Masters, there's a lot of people who are just watching it because it's the Masters, or they just turned it on because it's like, oh, there's a big sporting event happening. I'm not completely locked in, but I at least want it to be on in the background and I'm watching it. Those millions of people who watch a good video, they're going there because they want to watch that video and they want to see what's going on with those guys. Like, I think the percentage of people who are locked into a YouTube video like that is higher than the people who are locked into the Masters.
I don't know, man. That's pretty crazy. You don't think out of 10 million people, you don't think like 7 million people want to see who's going to win the Masters? Like,
that's a fair number, but I'm also saying that the number of people who are locked into that YouTube video that they turned on, that's almost 100%.
Maybe like our generation. I don't know. I think people view YouTube as TV, and they just play the next video, and the next video is just on in the background. And
this is what I was going to say before my internet. It's like a TV show. They're two different categories.
I don't know. Like our guy who makes all the wood, Halstead Woodworks, our guy Keith, says that when he's working in his garage, he just has YouTube on for like 7 hours, and it's just like in the background, video to video to video to video to video. He'll check in on it once in a while, and then he'll just but it's just constantly playing. I think there are a ton of people that do that at work, that work in cubicles, and that are just crunching numbers, and all day long on their second screen they have just YouTube on, and it's just going, and then they'll stop, they'll put their headphones in for a second, listen to it, and stop. I do think that like our appointment viewing of YouTube is very different because we're in that world. So like we say, oh, we want to watch this video, that doesn't, because we're on it, we're going to sit there and we're going to watch it from the beginning to end. I just think it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying, Trent, but I think it's diminishing. Like the Masters is appointment television. It's the only appointment television we have in golf. I don't know.
And look, like the Masters, that 12 million number is the highest viewed final round in 5 years. Like the PGA Championship this year, which is one of the biggest 4 things that happened, had 4.5 million average viewers. So it's like that's not astronomically higher. Now, it's definitely higher. I'm not saying that the major championships in golf, the Masters tournament, are close to the significance level or whatever to YouTube golf, but the numbers generally week to week and the output from YouTube and the top 10 accounts or whatever it is in YouTube golf posting and the number of consistent viewers that they get compared to the number of consistent viewers on the PGA Tour is incredibly comparable.
Yeah. I think we're missing a little bit of so I think the argument should be exposure, not like will it take over golf viewing, because you're never, dude, if we saw a good versus Rick Shields match that got 12 million live concurrence on YouTube, we'd be shitting our pants. I don't think and it's a bold claim on either side, but I don't think YouTube golf's going to get to that point. I think the Masters is the pinnacle of golf viewing. It's the best golfers for the most prestige at the greatest golf course. A YouTube video would have to be quite literally the Masters to equate to that. You know what I mean? It'd have to be
Right.
like, I just will never see it ever overtaking that. That is as high as you can go. The best production, the best golfers, the best golf course, the most anticipation, the most hype. It will never beat that. I don't care how many funny jokes we say about our butts. That can't be beaten, right? Exposure, yes, over a year, it's going to get 6 million views, whatever. But like, how many times have people viewed Tiger Woods tapping in the putt in 2019? Like, is that 150 million?
Right.
If that was a YouTube video?
But that's also the biggest moment, like in the history of golf. I think what Grant's point was, like the PGA Tour week in and week out, I don't know, is that far off from the notoriety and the exposure of like YouTube golf week in and week out. Like, I don't think when JT Poston like wins the John Deere Classic, I don't know that has more juice and makes him more notable in the world of golf than YouTube golfers week in and week out.
Oh, there's no question about it that the YouTube golfers are more famous than 90% of PGA Tour players for sure. One thing I will add is that the numbers for the Masters are United States. YouTube is worldwide. One of them is easy to watch. One of them is free to access. And the golf tournaments are somewhat easy to watch, but they're rolled up into cable packages, so people have to pay. So I think if you put the final round of the Masters on YouTube and not have it on a broadcast and you put that live, I think that would do extremely high numbers. But I think we all are sort of in agreement where it's just different categories. You know, one of them is entertainment, one of them is a television show, and one of them is a sports competition. And a sports competition that people only really care about 5 or 6 times a year. But you're absolutely right. Grant Horvat, and we've seen this with the equipment manufacturers and how they've shifted their strategies. You know, it used to be that you got a PGA Tour card and you got a deal from Callaway or Titleist that paid you a couple $100,000, and that was great. And now those companies have said in the last 3 years, starting really with you guys and TaylorMade, and then, you know, we've seen Callaway sign Good and Grant and Micah are with TaylorMade, and you know, the No Laying Up guys are Titleist now. It's like they realize that if the goal is reaching golfers, because there are 2 categories in golf. There's people who love to watch the best players in the world compete. That's my dad. And there's people who like to watch Grant and Micah and Good while they're working in their accounting office. And those are 2 separate people. And there's definitely overlap, but there's also a lot of people that are in their own. There's part of it that's not overlapped.
Yeah. I agree with that. I also would say, like, you know, the PGA Tour's got 100 years of history and build up and building their base. You look at YouTube golf, it's like 3 or 5 years in, and the numbers are already there and at a pretty substantial level. Like, imagine these brands, whether we're part of it or not, hopefully we are, and these figures like 10, 15 years into building these out, and the majors that you can run and the giant events that you can run and be a part of that'll garner more and more, like millions and millions of views. It's clearly not bigger now overall, not even close, like the PGA Tour and all of it. And like Tiger Woods was the biggest celebrity on the planet for, 10 years, whatever it is. So it's clearly not there. But I just thought, based on those numbers, that claim from Grant wasn't that outlandish. And, depending on how the chips fall and things continue to move, and how active too, right? Like the folks that are getting big in YouTube golf are also getting big on YouTube or on TikTok and on Instagram, and they're active with it. And there's very few players in professional golf who are personally active on those and letting you in. A lot of them literally hire these marketing agencies that like run their accounts, versus people are fucking everywhere. It's like the people that are really good at it at this point are putting out social clips all over Instagram, and then they're big on YouTube. And then the next day they've got a big deal with their equipment manufacturer. And then the next day they're filming with this PGA Tour star. And it's like, they just kind of hit you all the time. Whereas when in the last 2 months, outside of 1 week during the Ryder Cup, like, have we seen or heard from Patrick Cantlay like at all? And he's a top
I've had this
5-6 player in the world.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with Fitz a bunch, because he's one of those guys who doesn't do any. I don't even think he has his login, his controls to his social media at all. He's like the least active person, hardly ever on his phone. Definitely has someone who runs it for him. And I'm like, why? He's like, we're playing for so much money, like you win a golf tournament.
Yeah.
If you're an elite level golfer, Matt had a decent year this year. He won once. I think he made like 9 million or 10 million, plus some endorsements. So it's like, but that's the top level. If you're a guy who is like the Bryans, Wesley and George Bryan, like Wesley played on the PGA Tour, won on the PGA Tour. He's doing more YouTube golf stuff now, because unless you're able to be at that level where you're like, I'm going to win a PGA Tour event this year, or I'm going to finish in the top 5 of a PGA Tour event. Like, I wonder if we'll see more and more kind of fringy level pros like lean all the way into it. Obviously, you have to have a certain zhuzh to it. Like, you have to have a certain passion, a certain charisma. But, what I was talking about this with Grant yesterday when we filming our 9 of Mine, and I was like, did you want to be a pro? And he's like, unless you're a top 20 player in the world or whatever, like, I don't know that what they're doing is better than what we're doing. And obviously there's different personalities, and a lot of guys on the PGA Tour don't even know about YouTube golf, but it is becoming a legitimate pathway for someone like Grant, who in another life might be grinding on a mini tour somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, golf is definitely a unique sport where the fans can play it and make it look like they're playing to the same level in production as the pros. You go out there with a camera, you have a shot tracer, and it looks pretty similar to what the pros are doing. It's obviously not the same level of golf, but to the viewer, if that's what you like and you like the banter, you're going to watch it. So it's definitely different than the other sports. Like you say, more people see us on a week-to-week basis or YouTube golfers than a Patrick Cantlay. And that is true. It's also true for like Big Cat and PFT. More people see them than like Jared Goff and Derek Carr in the NFL. They're like the biggest people in media, and they're speaking about NFL, and like they do all these videos, but NFL will always be king. It's just golf is different because I think that we can replicate the sport more than the other sports. Like there's no, like Spittin' Chicklets is massive. They are the biggest hockey podcast in the world. People see Ryan Whitney and Paul Bissonnette. Paul Bissonnette's a bigger superstar than anyone on the New York Islanders, bigger superstar than anyone on like 28 other teams in the NHL, maybe 29. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it is, but they're not going to pull in, 3 million viewers like Connor Bedard or whatever he ended up doing on his opening night. They're not, if Biz and Whit played against another team on YouTube hockey, it's not going to do that. It's just that sport doesn't call for regular people going out there and playing as golf does. So it's an interesting conversation. I just, I don't know. I think it's easier to compare it on our side with golf because of the things I just said. When you compare it to other sports, it's like, it's not even a thought.
It's the only
baseball,
sport where
football.
it's the only possible sport where it could happen.
Right. Like Bryce Harper isn't going to go start a YouTube channel and start, like, what would he do? Play against like non-Major League Baseball players? I don't even know. He's at the pinnacle of what his viewership could be by playing on the MLB. The argument could be, in 10 years, are you getting more eyes on you on YouTube and golf than on the PGA Tour? I'm going to lean towards PGA Tour still. I just think that I still think that the TV rights and all that stuff is always going to trump just free YouTube. I don't know. Maybe as the older generation dies off, I'll be wrong. I'll definitely be wrong, I guess. But there's something about just turning on CBS and just having the Masters on and just, I don't know.
No, there absolutely is. I just think that's very rare, and it only happens a few times a year where it's that compelling and people turn it on. And even when they do, it's only a handful of people that really have a chance to win that are on TV that day, really being shown any of their shots. And that was their first chance to really get TV exposure in the last 2 months, and you haven't seen them. And I just think that consistency and being everywhere, I don't know, it's compelling. It's clearly different. So yeah, we'll see. But I thought that was an interesting point by him. I saw a lot of people going back and forth about it in the comments. So time will tell. Golf's about having fun, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, especially when you play at the level that we play at, which sure, we have flashes of brilliance. It's fun. We get really excited about it, but generally we're not very good. We're not particularly good. We hit a lot of bad golf shots. You're just going to end up, in terms of your score and your performance, disappointed in golf, like 97% of the time that you play?
Well, I think that's about the right number.
It is.
3% success rate of really feeling good, like you know what you're doing out there.
Yeah, and even like you're definitely going to have maybe a little bit higher success rate shot by shot, but like the total amount of times that you walk off the golf course and you're like, you know what? I was great today. I was great versus the amount of time you walk off and you're just like, God, that could have been better. I was pretty bad. I might have salvaged it here or there. Point is, you're there to have fun. Fireball whiskey is going to help you do that. It's going to take it to the next level. Whether you're down, whether the group in front of you is really slow, maybe you're getting stressed, maybe your phone's blowing up about work or families and your church trying to get away. Grab a couple shooters of Fireball whiskey, that iconic cinnamon flavor, and you're going to elevate the fun levels of your group.
It's the best. And I don't just use it on the golf course. I will have little nips of Fireball ready at a party. I'll have them all lined up on the bar. We'll play some Shotsy. It's a game that I made up, and I should have made millions and millions of dollars off of it. But essentially, it is Yahtzee, where if you roll a Yahtzee, everyone at the table has to take a shot. And it's so much fun because it's 5 dice, right? 5 dice. So when you have like 4 6s and you're rolling that next roll and everyone's like, no, not another one. You roll it and it's a 6. You're like, oh! And then I play the Shot song by what's it called?
Lil Jon?
LMFAO. Is it Lil Jon? It's Lil Jon.
Shot.
Everybody. I think it starts off I want to get fucked up. You ever hear the beginning of that song?
I don't remember.
It's so good. Anyway, I always have nips of Fireball just in the middle of the table and on the bar, and everyone knows when they walk into the dining room at the Shotsy night, and they love it. And I actually think I'm having one on Friday. I text people saying Shotsy and karaoke, so they know we're ripping Fireball. I've got it looks like a golf club. It's all filled up. It looks like a Fireball golf club, and it's just filled with, I think, like 15 shots of Fireball. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend. Everybody,
if you're feeling like upping the ante on the course this weekend, make sure you grab a 10-pack of Fireball shooters. They're the little 50 milliliter shooters. They're perfect for a shot anywhere on the golf course. Throw a bunch in your bag. They're ready to go whenever you need them. There's no shot glass chaser. You don't need all kinds of stuff that you're going to have to deal with. It's very simple. So grab yourself a 10-pack of Fireball shooters for the course this weekend. Rory McIlroy and Joe LaCava, I saw that they are, all good now. Rory did like a little BBC, I believe, interview. And he said things happened in the heat of the moment. Tensions were high. Joe LaCava came into the European team room on the Sunday night, had a drink and a chat. I've had a great relationship with Joe over the years when he caddied for Tiger. That wasn't going to change. And then he said something very interesting, which was that for me, the incident happened. I purposely didn't want to meet anyone on the Sunday morning because I wanted what had happened to fuel me for that day. My whole focus was, let's make sure Europe wins the Ryder Cup, and then we will sort out all the other stuff afterwards. And it's all fine. We're all friends now. I thought that was a great little tidbit about basically saying, I am not going to squash this. I want there to be tension. I want there to be fire. And I'm going to go out there and dominate on Sunday.
I think we're going to look back at that whole interaction in 5 years, and it's going to be just like one of the wilder things that has happened in golf. Like,
did he get into the parking lot thing at all? I didn't see this.
I think he said in the aftermath that basically that Bones was just the first American he saw, so he just started yelling at Bones. Basically, he was that mad. Yeah, I mean, Rory said, that throughout the whole LIV stuff, that like it motivated him to play better, to have to prove stuff. So he definitely has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. But I went back and watched the clip. Frankie, there is a moment where Joe LaCava thinks about hitting Rory McIlroy. There is a moment.
I said there's a moment where he takes a step up and goes, "Are we going to do this?"
That would have been incredible.
Well, he took that first step. Like, all right, what'd you say? And Rory was lining up his putt. He wanted it. He wanted all that smoke, as the kids say. All of it.
It was like, we're gonna look back. It's gonna be one of those clips that surfaces like Keegan and Miguel Angel Jimenez, where it's like this just doesn't happen in golf.
That, honestly, looking back, I mean, that really did save the Ryder Cup. There was such little juice at that moment. It was over. The U.S. had got dominated the whole time. We really hadn't climbed back much, down like 5 points going into Sunday, and we're happy about it because the last match and the way that it ended. And then we had that was crazy. The fact that Rory and Joe were yelling at each other as Rory was lining up a putt to tie the match in the final match of the day at the Ryder Cup, and then it spilled over into the parking lot where Rory was almost like going toe to toe with Bonesy, and then like Shane Lowry had to grab him, and Rory's wife was. I mean, what are we talking about? That never happened. That barely happens in the WWE. If that happens, you like don't believe it. That I mean, obviously you don't believe it, but if that happens in fight promotion, you don't believe it. When Conor McGregor threw something at like the bus, you're like, that's fucking crazy. And that's basically what happened with Roy McIlroy and Team USA. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely fueled Sunday. The crowd was insane, and it totally didn't reinvigorate or reignite the fire because they were already dominating, but it gave the fans something to galvanize around and like to really just go crazy on Sunday. So yeah, it was he gave it all he got, but it may have gave them a little bit too much juice when you look at it. You know, you end up putting what do they call it, bulletin board material for Team Europe. BBC, man, that's quite the I know it's a super prestigious news network.
Fuck
that's
the BBC.
That's quite the acronym. Is that what they call it? An acronym?
No.
Fuck.
Abbreviate.
An acronym is what? Like
acronym spells out a word.
So BBC doesn't.
Like, you know what I mean? It's a word.
Oh, I see. It's a word.
Yeah.
But each letter in an acronym stands for something.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I see. That's confusing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of one off the top of my head, which is crazy.
Neither can I.
I can't either.
SWAT.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay. BBC.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about when you hear BBC?
I do think about the news network. I really
I actually do too.
Gotcha.
I actually do too.
What'd you say, Dad?
Anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but at Harvard, there's like, if whoever saw Social Network, there's the finals clubs, and the whole deal was like Zuckerberg like didn't get into one, which are basic glorified fraternities, and he's on that. And then they have female finals clubs, and one of the names of the female finals clubs forever was ISIS. Like forever, that was the name of the club. Just I don't know if it was an acronym or I guess not an acronym, just an abbreviation. I don't know what it was. And then boy, in like the mid 2010s. Did they just, I mean, I don't want to compare it to like the BBC getting a little bit cucked by that name and having it really have some different connotations than it probably had the BBC network for decades. But that was a real tough break for them.
There's a good Shane Gillis sketch about that. A car dealership named ISIS. Yeah. It's a very funny one.
It's a Toyota dealership called ISIS.
Yeah, Gillian Keys. It's a very funny sketch.
But yeah, I think of cock now, so. That's just every what time it is. My brain just every time I hear BBC, that's a big interview. Rory went on BBC. It's like, fuck, man,
Roy did what?
How'd he handle that?
Yeah, how'd he take that interview?
Yeah, I'm fucked though. That's really just the world is kind of screwed. BBC was like breaking news between the prime ministers and the Queen of England, and it was like a huge thing. And now I'm thinking cock. So that's my fault. I have to be better. That's not their fault. It's nobody else's fault but me. I'm the one that has cock on the brain.
Anybody really pay attention to the LIV final at all?
Yeah. I mean, I saw Bryson.
I did.
Bryson is playing some really fantastic golf. Did you see that one hole where he just hit it onto another green, onto like the first green, and then hit it off the green, essentially? Took the craziest divot ever, which is fine because no one was coming through that hole anymore. And then put it onto the green, made a birdie from there, and he was going crazy with fist bumps, and the crowd was intense at LIV. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it live. I've seen all the clips. Seemed like it was a good time, and Bryson won. Or
Yeah,
his
and you were
team
paying
won.
attention,
Crushes.
right?
Yeah, I was paying attention. There's a little bit of a vacuum situation going on in the background. I don't know if you can hear it.
Okay.
No, I don't really hear it that much.
I can hear it a little bit, but it's not. It's
look,
not too bad.
I like this format. They finally lean into the team thing. Like I think if you're going to do team golf, you have to do team golf. And Bryson seems genuinely like he looks better. You know when you see someone you haven't seen in a long time, and you're like, you look great. Like you seem like things are going well in your life. That's kind of how Bryson looks right now. And I think being the captain of this team and getting to hang out with people, the Shipnuck book makes it sound like he was like kind of bullied on the PGA Tour a little bit. Not that makes it sound a little more nefarious than it probably was, but he wanted to be on all of these boards. He never got on any of them. The whole Bryson Brooks thing, he was kind of a nerd. So for him to go over to LIV and get this sort of sense of community, I think he's really happy. I think he's really happy, genuinely happy. He looks way better. It's just not hitting, man. The competition itself just isn't. It's not hitting. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's I'm too online and no one's talking about it, or it just doesn't feel. Maybe it's still so early and it's year 2 and it's too early to expect it to have any sort of juice. But the whole thing is like, oh yeah, that's kind of interesting, and then you kind of tune out. It just doesn't have the there.
The Saudis should have just started their own YouTube golf channel and had all these guys be.
Well, they're doing that. LIV is on YouTube. They did the Bryson versus Phil thing. They're smart about that.
But exclusively on YouTube. And I know their first couple of matches were, but don't even do live tournaments. They should have just taken all those players and created a golf group, and they come out with videos on Tuesdays,
like a One Direction.
Yeah.
Right. Don't make them live. Do not make them live.
They should have just taken them all.
If you filmed the Masters and then just put it on YouTube, that would get 500 million views.
Yeah.
If you did that with they really should have. They shouldn't have had to pay the CW for rights. Like, that was embarrassing for them. Just make a YouTube channel, dude, and sell ads.
Do tournaments, just matches and fun stuff, and you have crazy talent in there.
Imagine if every day they put out a new video that was a match, production value high, like ours. That was Bryson and Brooks play for a $20 million match, like Monday, and then Tuesday it's fucking Phil plays against like Andy Ogletree and James Pyatt in like a 2-man best ball, and they playing for his $5 million prize. And like they just put that out every day on YouTube. Like I just looked, they have 293,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like that's less than us. And imagine
that is insane.
If they just grew that.
They put all of the whole first season was only on that channel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but those were live matches. They were hard to consume. Like, make 40-minute videos. They should have just made a YouTube group. They would have put us all out of business. It's everything we're trying to achieve, is to get as big as what they could have had if they just made a YouTube group where they put out 2
like imagine like the first time they bring in like a college kid, like he gets in the group, or he's like playing for a spot in the group. It'd be massive.
They start doing like how many donuts can Bryson DeChambeau eat while also making birdie. It's just they really dive deep into the whole algorithm thing.
Man, that would have been a home run. I think they would be in a much better place in terms of their viewership. But yeah, I don't think anybody, like relatively speaking, watches on CW, really watches LIV, which is bizarre to think about. The event does look pretty fun. Doral is a very sweet place. Like the Blue Monster is actually like really cool. It's a really cool golf course. That whole like scene down there is pretty sweet. I watched some of it last year. I didn't really catch any of it this year, but I watched some of it last year and kind of enjoyed it. I saw all the clips from Bryson going absolutely crazy, and like part of me just felt like warm and happy for Bryson, because I think we all kind of feel a little bit bad for Bryson at times, just that he's just not, in terms of like handling it and kind of having it with the media and the public and all that. He just doesn't really have it, and has never really had it. So anytime he's like, looks like he's happy and having a good time, I do feel good for Bryson. So they made a ton of money. I think Taylor Gooch locked up the season-long thing like a while ago, didn't he? Like a couple weeks ago or something, Dan?
Yeah, he locked it up before. The purse for the final event was $50 million, and the PGA Tour purse was $8.5 million this week. So and that was a team competition. So the guys who won, the Crushers, won $14 million. It was $3.5 million each for the 4 guys. The math just doesn't add up. They're still just pissing away money, and LIV Golf itself is not recuperating that money. So it's just a function of how long the Saudis want to keep doing this, and the answer might be forever, because $50 million, as we've talked about a lot of times on the show, is like $5 falling out of their pocket.
Yeah, but they're going to, right, in order to get more people, they're going to have to pay some of those big sums again, right? If they were going to try to make a splash by getting another couple big names from the PGA Tour, whether it's Xander and Cantlay or whoever it is, like they're going to have to pay $50 million or $75 million to some of these guys up front. Like that's just not even the prize pool. That's just sending it directly to guys.
Didn't Phil say there's going to be another exodus?
Yeah, but I mean, he said that last time, and they got, who was it? Thomas Peters and Sebastian Munoz, like, Brendan Steele. The problem now is this TGL, the simulator league, which is sort of comically similar to LIV in the way that they're marketing it. They're like, Team Los Angeles, we represent this and that and that. And it's like, what does Team Los Angeles even mean? Like, you're not playing in Los Angeles. I mean, maybe it'll be guys who are from LA. I don't know. But the TGL, which is very integrated with the PGA Tour. PGA Tour, it's like an official partner. They have the same media rights, and it's Tiger and Rory are running it. They signed Rahm, Cantlay, Cameron Young, Schauffele. Those are supposed to be like the next guys who might go over, but now those guys are getting guaranteed money from a thing that's the PGA Tour. It's another way to keep them in the fold. I don't know who they're going to get. I don't know who would go at this point too, because you're thinking they have this framework agreement. Why do I go over there, risk the ban, risk not getting world ranking points? That was a big domino when this whole thing's going to be over in a few years anyway. And like Riggs said, I don't know that they're going to be able to give this guy. They were overpaying like crazy last year. I mean, they gave, what was it? Who was I reading about that got something absolutely insane last year because he won? Someone got like, Harold Varner got $30 million last year. Like that's not happening this year.
No, that's
an outrageous number.
$30 million.
Well, he got 27 million plus 3 million for his foundation. And that's why when he left, he was like, I just set up everybody. Like,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that a 1-year deal?
It's a 3-year contract.
So he's making like 10 million a year.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Plus whatever he makes on the tour. Right.
Yeah. And
he's like, didn't he finish
last in every event? He won the event in Saudi.
Wow.
Like, he won the Saudi International, but it's 120 grand for last. So if you're playing all 14 events, that's 1.6 million for shooting 80 every time.
Wow, you just did that math.
That was ballpark.
Yeah, that was ballpark. Plus, yeah, I think he won one, which you get $4 million when you win. So it was like that's a shit ton of money. HV3 made.
On the PGA Tour, he made 10.8 million. So he's already way ahead of himself.
You see this fucking guy Giannis, that contract he signed?
Yeah, 3 years, right? What'd he get?
It was 3 years. $60 million a year, $62 million a year, I think it was.
Basketball contracts have gone out of control
Did that just
in the
happen?
last 5 years.
Yeah, it was 3 years, like 185 million.
Dude, I remember when
3 years.
The big contract was like 20 million a year. It was like, whoa.
Bro, this guy has a 6 in front of it.
He's worth it, man. He's a star.
I was talking about this last night at the horrific Islander game I went to, just back and forth, no defense, score 4 goals against Colorado Avalanche, and we lose 7-4, just outrageous. But it is hard to fathom, but at some point, you got to think that these owners and all these GMs and executives are seeing massive, incredible returns on these investments, or else they wouldn't be giving them out. That's number one. And number two, which is the argument for LIV Golf as well, right? They're like, they see some sort of return, or else someone has to be seeing some reason for giving out that money, whatever it may be. In LIV, it might be one reason. For NBA, it might be for profits and for advancing the actual sport. LIV, maybe not. But at the end of the day, they assess all of these numbers. And I guess Giannis is bringing in as much as 15 NHL players bring in for an NHL owner, right? Like that player brings in all that revenue and all that winning, as much as maybe lines 1, 2, and 3 for the New York Islanders. Because lines 1, 2, and 3 for the New York Islanders add up to about $60 million. So it has to make sense, right? Like, it's stunning what these guys are making.
To me, that checks out. Because especially basketball.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's so different. It's sorry to cut you off, Trent, but it's
okay.
You need like 3 stars in basketball, and all of a sudden you've got a team that draws crowds and that can compete, kind of. And
maybe one
hockey,
star.
you need. Yeah, you kind of do, but in hockey, you need like 18 really good players, or you have no chance.
Right. The argument has been LeBron has been underpaid his entire career because he keeps that sport in the main focus of everyone. Everyone wants to know what LeBron has been doing for the last 20 years. And the NBA has a salary cap, so he gets this amount of money. Every team has this amount to spend. But it's like, if you're really looking at the value of a guy like LeBron, and Giannis is in that category now because he's sort of becoming the next generation of that league, like, it's no, you should be paying LeBron $100 million a year when he was at his peak, making the finals every year, keeping the NBA in the focus of the public. Like, you could argue that he was underpaid for all of those years.
Right. These TV deals these owners have are insane. So they can give out whatever they want. They're not losing any money on any contract. All these guys that sit around these local pubs and these bars and they're like, these athletes are making too much money.
Nope.
Too much damn money. You know who's making too much damn money is the guys, the owners of the teams. They're the ones that signed these billion-dollar TV deals so they can do whatever the fuck they want with that money with their 10 players. You know what I mean? Like, someone's going to make a ton on that team.
And it's think about how much the Milwaukee Bucks are worth with Giannis, and think of how much the Milwaukee Bucks are worth without Giannis. And that's what there's been an explosion in sports franchise valuation in the last 10 years. And I think people are starting to realize, like, that's where the real money is for these owners. Is a lot of these guys, you'll see, like, if you bought a team in like 2006, you could get a NBA team for like $500 million. Now it's like, what did the guy buy the Suns for? Like $4 billion.
Crazy.
You're also, now some fans would argue against this, but like, the owners, you're dealing with smart individuals. They're not giving out $60 million a year contracts because they like the guy. They're looking at the numbers and saying that he's clearly worth this, probably worth more, but we're going to spend $60 million a year on this guy. Again, they're not doing that out of the kindness of their hearts. It's a business decision. So they clearly are able to give him that amount of money.
It's a sign of the times. You got to do it. They're going to advance their business just the way everyone else advances their business, and inflation and all these things. So Giannis makes more money, and ticket prices are going to go up because they're going to need more money just to pay him, and and TV rights are going to go up, and that's just the way it's going to go. I don't actually see how all of this ends. Like, I was talking about this with my dad last night at the Islander game. Like, at what point where do we reach the tipping point of how expensive things can start to be? Like, we got like a water yesterday, and the water was like $8.50. And I'm like, at what point is it like unacceptable? Is it going to get to 15 one day? Is it going to get to 20? Is it going to get, in 100 years, is a water bottle going to be $100?
It used to be that being a millionaire was like, who wants to be a millionaire? And like, now it's like $1 million, obviously a crazy amount of money, but it's going to get to be a point where being a billionaire is you're going to need 10 billion to be considered like, you know what I mean? It's inflation. I
guess it just keeps going up because water used to be 5 cents, you know?
Right. But there has to at some point be, and I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot. It's scary because it's never going to go down because then the world seems like it ends.
What would you guess the national median household income is? Household income.
I'd say,
so obviously, husband and wife combined. Whatever.
I want to say the listeners got to give us some grace here because we're going to have some bad answers. And I genuinely don't know. First number that popped in my head, judge me if you want, 85,000.
Yeah, I was going to say like high 60s. I think I think the average like person is like around 50 or something, or 40 something.
Yeah, I actually was going to say 72,000, but I think it's higher than that.
You guys are all, I would say everybody's pretty good. That would have been a great KP, closest to the pin, which we still have to do. The answer is $74,580.
There you go.
I am good at those guesses, by the way.
Very good. Yeah, that was really, really good.
You are generational at those guesses.
It's so weird.
That was based on September 13th, the latest U.S. Census Bureau data, which is up. I'm sorry, it's a 2.3% decline from 2021, which was around 76,000. So it's actually gone down. But yeah, I think you're 100% right, Frank. It's like everything is insanely expensive at this point. It's like everything.
But so I was talking about inflation and making money on your money, and you have to put money in to invest it. And I'm always I'm way too afraid to do that. I don't want to put my money into stocks or bonds or anything. I just like to have it on me in case a nuclear war breaks out. And the argument against that is that everything keeps getting more expensive. So if you have $10,000 in the bank today and things cost X amount of dollars today, it's going to cost times 2 in 20 years. And if you still have those $10,000, you've lost $10,000 over those last 10 years. You know what I mean? So you have to keep up with the inflation as things get more expensive. You have to, or else you're literally just burning and the money that you were spending when water was $5 and now water's $9. You're just losing all of that money. You have to keep up with the time somehow. It's a scary place. You have to keep going. You have to keep advancing with it because that's not going to stop. Money's not going to stop getting more expensive, or things are not going to start getting more expensive. Stop getting more expensive. It's always going to keep going. And I never really rationalized it that way. I always thought if you have the money right now, and that's all you deal with. You have to, it's never going to stop. It's like if you're here, it's like a fucking track, just keeps going.
Yeah, I think like when they say, when they talk, this project cost X amount of millions of dollars in 1987, and they're like, in today's dollars, and the number is astronomically different. And you're like, holy shit, dude, it's changed that much in my lifetime. I was born in 1987. That just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, it's scary. It's scary to think about out there.
Trent, what were you going to say?
I don't even remember.
Oh, fuck.
I don't. I will say now that nobody knows less about money than me. So I have nothing to contribute to that other than.
I don't know it either, dude. I was getting like a whole lesson last night in the car driving home. It was blowing my mind because I was talking about like mortgage rates and interest rates, and like I didn't realize that as mortgage rates go up, interest rates have to go up as well because banks want your money because they use your money to lend it out to other people. I've never really understood how banks work. They're using your money to give it out to other people. So they'll say, all right, interest rates are now 5% because it's way more sexy for me to go do that because they want to give out mortgages at 8%. I never knew that they were correlated. So if mortgage rates go up to 15%, interest rates at the bank are going to be like 10 or 11.
There's some like real estate professionals right now that are just like wanting to shoot themselves in the head.
I think I'm saying it correctly though.
I don't think that they do. Like, I think that they like just because you're in the business doesn't mean you expect everyone on earth to like know everything about the business, right? Like they know that most people don't understand this. Like people that buy homes every day have no fucking idea what they're doing. And they're like, what's going on here now? How much am I paying? Just tell me what the monthly is and I'll tell you if I can afford it. And then I'm doing it. I think that's pretty much how most people go about it. But yeah, most people don't have fucking a clue about a lot of money, and clearly we don't either.
I'm going to get so many DMs from financial advisors and people that want me to put money into their bonds and stocks. And I'm going to just say, get away from me.
They're going to be hounding us. They're going to be hounding us. With the busy fall season already in swing, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for jam-packed days, which is what we need. We try to talk all the time about eating healthier, smarter, more conveniently, the whole deal. Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. This kind of stuff, and Factor being the #1 in America for ready-to-eat meal kit, this stuff is huge for us.
Yeah, I can't cook. That's a story as old as time in the Trent Ryan book. I couldn't cook 10 years ago. I couldn't cook 10 years before that, and I still can't cook. So something like this it's big in my life because I need it. I need to eat.
And you're always scrambling around to try and order something, and all these food service programs that are going to deliver it from a fast food place because it's just easy. Don't do that. Get prepared before the week starts. Like you should have this in your refrigerator, ready to go, knowing what you're going to eat Monday through Friday because they've already factored it into your week. They've factored it all up. Make sure that you factor into your dietary plans this week.
Head to factormeals.com/450 and use code 450. That's FORE50 to get 50% off. 50% off. 50% off. That's code FORE50 450 at factormeals.com/450 to get 50% off. Again, factormeals.com/FORE50 for 50% off. We got to do a little closest to pin action. We got to do a roundup from the most recent one, which is obviously last week. And then we got Trent Daddy, who I believe has prepared the questions. We've got our friend Rapstar is just battling his internet today, which is tough to see. But But yeah, let's do it. Let's do close to the pin. Let's hear from Alex Bush first, who, by the way, Alex Bush will be joining in closest to the pin now. So we got to hear from Alex Bush on results, guesses, standings, and then we'll jump into the fresh set of questions.
Last week we had the box office question. Riggs was closest.
Oh, yeah.
You had 51.
Come on.
It was 44.
Hold on. So let's re-say the question and let's say
Yep,
everybody's
so it was-
answer.
That's delivery.
Alex, I want you to say every single question and everybody's answer, and then say the official answer.
Okay.
So we got the
first
first
one-
question was Riggs won. Second question.
It's all right. We're
That's on
all
me.
learning with closest
That's
to the
on me. Okay, so first one was the money made at the box office by Killers of the Flower Moon on opening weekend. 44 million was the answer. Riggs had 51, Trent had 34, Dan had 69, and Frankie had 29.
Okay.
I think you give the guesses first and then the answer.
Do you guys know a single person who saw that movie? Because I asked a lot of people, and I don't know if anyone saw it.
I think
this
a lot of
weekend.
people in this office saw it. I know what did Stephen Shea said it was too long. John Feidelberg loved it, and a couple other people loved it. I mean, it's a 3.5 hour movie, so it's a commitment. But I've heard it was good.
So where are you pulling this data from, by the way? Because I saw something that
boy.
it made 23 million.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
another
no.
number too, but that was only North America, or it was like US and Canada or something like that. I found on like 4 different places that the worldwide number
I
was
think
44.
the way you did it is very sound. I think that's really
Yeah.
solid.
If you can find me a worldwide number that's not 44, then we can talk about it.
I see. Okay, an estimated 23 million in North America and 21 million in 63 international markets. So that would be 40.
So that'd be 44, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Saves for New York Islanders goalie on Friday versus the Devils.
Don't say the answer yet.
I know,
Do the answer
I
at
know.
the
That's
end.
what
I just told him.
Dan 29, Riggs 31, Trent 32, Frankie 33. Do you know what it was, Frankie?
It was high. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it
it
may
was-
have been 33.
It was 34.
Oh,
So Frankie won that just off.
Oh,
dude, he got absolutely peppered by the Devils that night, and it went into overtime. So I remember we were watching the game, and I'm like, holy shit. He made like 3 or 4 saves in overtime, and I got closer. I thought I had it on the number, though. Yeah, there was like 35. It was 39 shots on goal.
So Frankie wins that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Adam Scott's combined score on Thursday and Friday at
Oh, this is
Zozo.
a bad one.
Yeah, this was the one that 3 of you had 138. That was Riggs, Trent, Frankie. Dan had 139, and it was 143. So Dan took that one by himself.
He finished.
Oh,
I think
dude,
he
they had
finished
that
bogus
wind
double.
70-73. So
Yeah, I think he finished
143.
bogey double on Friday.
Oh,
Ooh.
brutal. Friend of the program, but brutal.
And then I've officially realized we're jinxing NFL teams because points for the Lions, who have been good all year. Riggs had 20, Trent 24, Dan 24, Frankie 28, and they scored a measly 6 points.
They got.
Oh,
they
Riggs
got.
won that one.
They got shit pumped. They got shit.
Yeah, they
he
got
should have
shit
got a
on
point
us.
for that.
Yeah. Same thing happened with the Bills the week before. So
Wow.
the standings right now, we have Dan in the lead at 5, Riggs and Trent with 3, and Frankie with 1, but he's only been here for 1 week.
right.
Yes, please let the standings know that. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, so great job, Alex Bush. That was good. We really worked
Great
through
stuff,
that. But now I
Alex. That
think
was
you're
nice.
you're a seasoned veteran for the next Thursday. So that'll be
Mhm.
fantastic. So Trent Ryan now has
Yeah.
the questions for closest to the pin. The floor is yours, Trent.
Okay. First question. World Series starts on Friday. Diamondbacks, Rangers. It is total runs scored in game 1 of the World Series. The only bit of information that I have is that the Vegas over-under right now is 8.5.
Yeah. Wow.
Diamondbacks and Rangers, 2 teams we all saw coming.
I watched that game last night. I was really pulling for the Phillies just because that's by far the most interesting storyline of the MLB postseason, and the guys didn't hit enough. They just didn't hit enough at all.
How do you want me to send you mine?
Bush, you should.
I was thinking I should text you guys in a group chat and then just put it in invisible ink so you can't read it right away. So then you see it comes in, but you don't read it and get mine.
Oh, wait. I have a question. Yeah, so Alex should just declare that he already has his number and he has to be an honorable citizen and human beings because he's gonna gauge
I
all.
haven't read your text yet, so But I'm saying I
yeah.
could text it to you before
Right.
an invisible ink, so you can't read mine.
Yeah, do that. Do it to the foreplay group.
Do that.
Invisible
This
ink.
might be the
a good call.
first like in the wild use of invisible ink I've ever seen.
I know.
Dude, the first time somebody sent me, I didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
We should all just send it in invisible ink, and then we can just.
How do you do that?
So you hold the blue send button, and it gives you a bunch of options on how to send it.
Oh, it sure does. All right, I'll do that going forward too. Are we sending it to the group or we're sending it to Alex Bush still?
I did it to the group.
Okay. I'm not even going to look at my phone right now.
It's kind of like
Wow,
this
it
kind
is
of like
cool.
what
I
invisible
didn't-
ink was created for. This is a great use of invisible ink.
Yep.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear it. Sorry, I got a lot going on right now. Trying to schedule this good stuff, and these guys are going back and forth. So I got a lot going on right now. How do you do the invisible
lot.
ink thing?
On your phone, as you send the text, you hold the blue send thing. You hold it, and it gives you a bunch of options, and one of them is invisible ink. You can also send like congratulations, streamers, laser beams.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the laser one is nuts.
And then you hit it again. Cool. Okay, I did it.
All right, I think we're all.
I'll
in
go
there.
first.
Okay.
I'll go first. Once again, my original thinking, and then I went way in the opposite direction. I said 7.
All right. I went 11. I went
Wow.
over. I think they're going to score a bunch of points. I have no real
Points.
logical reasoning for that, but that was the first number that popped in my
They're
head.
gonna have a field goal too.
Or yeah, 11 runs. I'm sorry.
I went with 6. I think, both these teams don't expect to be there, and I think it's going to be kind of like a shock to the system that they're playing in the World Series. And I see it being a very low scoring, clenching the bat a little tighter than they want to type of game one.
I'm gonna get pinched.
I put 6 as well. I'm not going to pretend to have any sort of reasoning. Yeah, squeezed you out there, Riggsy, unfortunately. But
no.
You got
What's
7
Trent-
through
what
11,
did Trent
yeah.
guess?
No, so
Yeah,
I
I
guess
guessed
from
11.
7 to 11.
So okay, I got a pretty good stretch there. Then I feel
No,
good
no,
about
no,
that.
no,
I always
no.
thought you were.
Oh,
gonna
what did
say, like,
Alex say?
8. Oh,
Yes. I just wanted
You
to be on the
suck.
high end, and I went 9.
Wow. So Riggs
Damn.
needs 7 or 8. We need anything under 6 or
Yeah.
6.
I need a very high scoring game.
You need 10 or higher.
All right. So, second question: total points scored by all NFL teams in Week 8.
Wow.
So
Come
I
on,
added up
dude.
Week 7 to give us a little bit of a gauge. That's the information I have. Is 516 points.
Okay. I'm looking at the schedule like it's going to teach me anything.
Yeah, you're not going to know a thing, dude.
Well,
It
you
was
got to think it's
500,
the same
what'd you
amount of
say,
teams
Trent?
on bye, probably.
Yeah, it's the same games.
Yeah.
I'm going to just take a look at what Week 7, what kind of numbers we were looking at.
I kind of wish you didn't give us that 516 number. That's a lot of info.
Yeah, but I think
It's
they were
good
kind of
stuff.
low, dude. You had 2 teams. All right. But then that Browns-Colts game.
All right, I sent mine to Alex Bush.
You just won't send it in the group, will you?
Oh, is that what we're doing? I'm sorry. I didn't know.
You said I'm sorry. The number from last week was what?
516 points total scored by all NFL teams.
Well, Danny didn't send it with anything, but
Oh, that's tough. That's really hard. That's really bad. I'm
A bunch of
gonna
guys
unsend
trying
that.
to figure out technology.
Undo send. You guys never saw it.
Okay, I sent mine. I don't remember what I sent. No, I do.
I'm in.
yep, I'm in.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Everybody in?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I said 487 points
Okay.
for all NFL teams.
Any
Did
reason?
you see my guess? Because that was what I had. That was the one that popped up in the group. I did 487.
No, I
as
did
well.
not see it.
We're glued at the hip.
I have not opened the group chat. I still have every message in there.
487, baby. What are the odds?
Are you
That's
serious?
insane. That is
I
insane.
swear.
nuts.
I swear.
Damn, that's crazy, actually.
I had 500 because I have no reasoning for anything for this. This is a shot in the dark.
Damn it. I'm such an idiot. I think it's going to be crazy high scoring. It just feels like we haven't had that yet. So I went 596,
Whoa.
but I wish I would have went 501, but that's a mistake.
Riggs, you're going to be unhappy again.
What'd you get?
What did Alex do?
I went 569.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, that's going to hurt me.
That was, by the way, that was harder. You can't find that data anywhere. I tried to just Google how many points did the NFL team score in week 7, and I had to do the math myself. I couldn't find it anywhere.
So what kind of rules are these? Is this
You can go over.
it, but like if okay, I see.
That's a fun
Yeah,
bet
it's
to
like the
take, though, if
dozen.
they have like an
Just whoever's
over-under
closer.
with total
Right,
points.
I
'cause
was
then you're just
looking for
rooting
that. I don't know if that
everybody.
exists.
You're rooting for
I feel like
everybody
Big
to
Cat used
score.
to do that, right? Didn't
Yeah.
he
Did he?
used to do
Okay, I
like a
think
week
so.
over and go nuts about it. Like we just won offense.
All right, it's a good bet if that's true. Yeah.
I guess you could just bet the over in every game.
So did we all say what we bet or what we
Yep.
decided on? Okay. Third one. Drake has a plane that he owns. It's called Air Drake. It's very famous.
Okay.
And thanks to public flight logs, you're able to see where he goes, how far he travels, all that. And my question is, how many miles will Drake's plane travel over the weekend? So I've got a few bits of information. Right now, it's at the San Antonio International Airport. It traveled from Dallas to San Antonio on Tuesday. That was 248 miles. This next bit of information is probably the most important. It was Drake's birthday on Tuesday. So you think maybe he's going to travel somewhere for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have any
we just
shows?
What's that?
Does he have any
No,
shows?
the tour is over. The tour is done.
Okay.
So the guess is, how many miles will Air Drake travel over the weekend?
It's still in Texas.
Right now, it's in San Antonio.
Are we
gotta
counting
get to
Friday as part
Toronto.
of the weekend like the box office does?
Well, that's what I wanted to discuss with you guys is where do you want to do the cutoffs?
Friday to Sunday night.
So
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. Friday at
Friday to
midnight,
Sunday
like
night.
Thursday night until Sunday at midnight on the Sunday side.
So midnight to midnight on those days.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some math here.
You guys can do some
wonder
math
what-
if you want.
I wonder what kind of math he's doing out there. Where's Drake live? Do we know where? What's his home base?
He lives in Toronto. That's where his house is.
Okay.
Caleb Presley and Glennie Balls were there recently.
Oh, that's right.
It's cold this time of year in Toronto. Getting cold.
Yeah, he's gonna get out of there this weekend, man. It's too
He
cold.
just turned 37 years old on Tuesday.
Bro, where's he going
Wow.
for his birthday? Everybody
Where's
knows
that
the
Drake
Drake
answer.
wait for the weekend to go away though. Like,
Everybody
the work
knows
week
the
means
answer.
nothing.
It's true, but I think there's something to like the birthday weekend. And if there's a guy who's going to celebrate his birthday weekend, it's Aubrey Graham.
That's right.
I'm in.
But where's he going to go?
I'm doing
Oh,
some
and-
research. I'm doing some research.
Also, if people want to track and follow along, what you put in is N801DM, and you can track his flights on Flight Tracker.
It feels like a
All this stuff's
safety
public.
hazard. I'm surprised that that's
All this stuff's
allowed.
public. We're not doing
Yeah.
anything illegal here.
No, I remember. I mean, it's a huge thing with SEC football coaches when they're taking interviews and stuff.
Right.
All right, I'm
Okay,
in.
I'm locked and
Oh,
loaded.
I gotta send Alex Bush mine.
I'll go first this time. I'm fairly
Okay.
confident that he's going to Miami and then back to LA. So my answer is 4,700 because I figure it's about 2,000 miles from San Antonio, maybe a little bit less to Miami, and then I think he goes back to LA on Sunday. So there's my answer, 4,700.
Okay.
I'm fairly confident
went-
those are his weekend plans. Fairly confident.
I went 1,818, and my only thinking was that the most likely places you're going to go are going to be in the 700 to 900 range, and he's going to go there and back. But if he does do one big one, and then his other leg of the trip doesn't quite make the cut because it's Thursday or it's Monday or something, that I could still have a chance with like a really long trip from across the country. And so that's what I went.
I said 3,400. I figured that if he's going, so Texas to Toronto is 1,600. So if I figured if you double that, like if he goes and if he has to go, if that plane is still there and has to fly to go get him on Friday and then bring him somewhere and then bring him back, I'm just thinking about all that. You know, that plane's got to leave San Antonio. When is it leaving is the question. It's
Right,
there
that's the
as
big
of
question.
as of Wednesday.
Right, and it's not just we don't know if Drake's going to be
True.
on the plane. It's just it's the plane itself. So it could
Right. Drake
correct.
doesn't have to be on it because
Yeah.
we're not going to know that. Yeah.
Would you
Right.
say, Trent?
He might charter
Well,
that thing out. He might charter that thing out, man.
He probably does. I fucked up because I was looking at from San Antonio to Toronto, which I think is like 1,600. We said
Yeah.
I read it as 600, so I said 650 miles. So I'm going to be way on the
Hey,
end
he
of.
could be going to Houston. H-Town's
Or he
his
could
second
not
home,
leave.
you know?
But if that thing goes San Antonio to like Vegas for the weekend and just stays there, you might win that.
Okay,
What
All
if he
right.
doesn't leave and it's just zero?
Then you'd probably win that too. Unless Alex
Then
Bush
lowest
San
said
number
Antonio
one
becomes
$20.
the hottest city in the
Well,
country.
Trent kind of cooked me. I was trying to go on the lowest end I could just because I thought you guys overshoot it and I'd get like anything up to 1,000. I went 269 just so I can get anything because he
Wow.
might just go to like Miami. So I was hoping to
Alright.
get like 0 to 1,000 real quick.
Maybe this guy start traveling.
We'll keep an eye on that jet
Can
depending
you
on where it
get
goes.
push? I bet you can get push notifications somehow when his
Dude,
jet
you definitely
takes off.
can. You
There's
can.
gotta
I
be an
downloaded
app.
an app this morning of like you can get notifications from Flight Tracker on where these guys are going.
Yeah,
And then
dude,
the
let's
last one,
creep on this guy.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
last one. I actually have a question for Frankie. Frankie, do you give out Halloween candy at your house?
Yeah.
Because it's coming up. Halloween's on Tuesday, and the question is, how many pieces of candy will the Borelli household give out on Halloween?
Wow.
I don't know anything about your neighborhood, really. I don't know how many kids are in the neighborhood, but that's the fourth question for closest to the pin.
Wow.
How
Over
many
the
pieces of
weekend.
candy will the Borelli household give out on Halloween?
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We won't
Well,
be there.
he has a lot
We're
of
gonna
control
be in,
over that because he can just count.
No,
well,
that was
we're
the
not
thing
gonna
I was
be
going to.
there.
Oh, you're not going to be there.
We're going to be in the DR.
Oh shit!
So
that's
are you
right.
gonna put a what's the plan?
Well, Hannah's going to have to give it out, and but she works until at least 2:30 or 3. But that's fine. We didn't give out candy at that point anyway. She's going to be home for just the duration of Halloween, unless she goes to her parents' house.
What's Hannah as a candy giver? Is she a one kind of nice size bar kind of person, or is she like a 5 different Jolly Ranchers kind of girl?
Well, it was our first year, like having Halloween and seeing like the neighborhood last year, and we really got into like wanting to be a fun house, giving out good stuff. So we were giving out like full chocolate bars, like Kit Kat bars, Hershey bars, Reese's bars.
As long as we can agree on a unit. If she's giving out one each time, then that's just one, even if it's a full bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So if
What if
she
she
will
gives like a
agree-
handful of Hershey's Kisses?
Right.
That's 5.
We don't have
That's
Hershey's
5.
Kisses.
That's 5 pieces. of
I think
candy.
if you guys would be willing, if she would be willing, she can give out one to each kid.
we can't
Last year I gave out a couple of really good ones for like good costumes. But I also will say it was lighter than most years. Like I remember when at my parents' house it was way more people. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just like coming off of COVID times or whatever. So who knows? I don't know what to think about this number this year. You know what I mean?
Could
Yeah.
we? What if we had her, which is a real big ask from her? What if she, like counts how many bags, like how many pieces in a bag she dumps into a bowl, and then just counts however many are in there afterwards? And
I think that's the
you know what I'm
easiest
saying?
thing. I think
That's a good one.
I think we get 50 or 60 pieces of candy in a bowl. Right? Let's call it 50 pieces of candy in a bowl.
Okay.
This is exactly what I wanted, by the way.
Okay.
Let's call it 50 things of candy in a bowl, and then we see how many remain at the end.
And it's like, what the hell am I doing? What?
I also
Okay.
I also want her to put the answer in the foreplay group in invisible ink before
Invisible
you get
ink.
back before you get back from Dominican, so that you can't get to her.
Okay, I'm gonna say
So we're still doing how many are given out.
yes.
Okay. All right.
All right, I sent mine to Alex. I should just put it in the fucking group. God damn it!
Bizarre, you won't do it in that group.
I'm sorry. I have he's open up on my thing.
Group's popping off right now.
All right, there, I did it.
Brendan Jones sent a message in invisible link. That's just because we on it. It said, "This is weird."
Yeah. Okay, Alex, you got yours in there.
Yep.
All right. Start reading. I'll go first. I'm from seeing your guys' numbers. I went low. I went 16.
Whoa.
I went
I
16.
mean, you live there, so you know better than all of us.
I went pretty low as well. I went in the New York Islanders save category of 31.
Ooh.
All right, I went 33.
And I went 34, Trent. So
Wow,
I'm
that's-
hoping
I'm just-
for I
I got
might
pinched there.
Push.
I went 27.
He gets me every time. This pinches me every
I
time.
keep fucking cucking rigs.
Damn.
So I knew you guys were going to go high. So I went for as low as I could think where it would be around. I think it's going to end up somewhere in the 20s. I don't know where though.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. And then I said 31.
Is there a way to tell Hannah this
Idiot.
without her knowing what it's for? Because she might alter her behavior. Because winning closest
No,
to the pin is huge.
She doesn't care.
I've got to know Hannah a little bit. She is an honorable individual. She
I
will
think so,
not
too.
mess
I
with the
think that's
results
right.
in any way.
I just
So
heard
she
now
knows
that
what
she's
it
not
is.
ride or die.
We should get one of those cameras that people put for like their dog, and just put it over the bowl, and we could count in real time like how many are being taken away.
That costume sucks. Why'd you give him 3 pieces?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. The weather's good. Like it should be a good Halloween. Last year was a little weird. It was low. I'd say we probably gave out like 25 pieces of candy last year, maybe like 25 kids came by. It wasn't anything crazy. We don't live in like a cul-de-sac or like a big we have a bunch of kids like that live around us, I'd say, but not like anything insane. So it's not going to be. I'm sure some families give out 100 pieces of candy. It's definitely a light family walking street. So we'll see.
Wow, I like it. Great questions, Trent. That was really good. I like how we're just getting away from anything golf related, which is kind of the goal. Just
there was nothing that interests me to do in the golf world. Nothing.
I love it.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's no PGA Tour event this week. No LIV event this week.
All right.
I had to look up fucking Drake's flight path. That's a question.
That's a good. That's
creative.
That's deep.
Okay, I think that's it, fellas. I think that's a wrap. That's a full show. I can't think if I'm forgetting anything else. Anybody have anything else? Anything pressing that must be discussed?
I'm trying to think.
Last night was fun in the NHL. Everybody played, but I gotta say I'm an idiot. I've been an Iceman loyalist. I was undefeated this year betting just on Elio the Iceman, and then he does 300 seconds with Elio, and he had the Merles on yesterday, and I veered and I bet on Mr. Ice's pick, which obviously hit. I took 3 of Merle's picks, and every one of them lost that I took. So that's just on me. I know that Mr. Ice is my guy. I just was building up this awesome bank account, and I decided to go ham last night, being like, you're either going to make some money in this thing, you're not. And then I just lost 3 out of 4 last night. So that was a real shame.
I had a guy on a flight yesterday, or it was on yesterday. Super early flight. Everyone's just coming back from West Palm Beach to New York, and I was sitting down, and then I get up. We land, and I go to get my bag, and some guy a couple of seats behind me, I'd say he's like 35, maybe 38, had his wife next to him, screams on the plane, just goes, Frankie, way shorter than I thought you'd be. So then I go, I have my hand up here, and I just look at him, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And he goes, Jesus, dude, just a joke. So I go,
this guy sounds like he rocks.
So I looked around. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I was like, what? Like, I don't even, what's happening right now? I don't know what to tell you. Like, what did he expect that interaction to, how did he expect that interaction to go? Like, I was going to say,
Brian Harmon
you're
feels.
right. I'm a short little boy.
That's not how Brian Harmon feels, It's just like something
I'm
you just
5'11".
can't change. It's true.
I think I'm
You're not
averagely
3'7".
heighted.
Yeah, but that's also, nobody's like yelling that at Brian Harmon in an intimate setting on an airplane where
it was
just
insane.
Like around.
Dude, everyone on the plane just started staring at me and him, and they thought
tough.
like we had like a thing going, and I was just like, yeah. I literally looked at him, I said, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know how to react to this. He goes, Jesus, dude, it's just a joke. And like elbowed his wife, and I was like, this is insane. Insane.
Dude, I
love that.
I had one a couple weeks ago. I was at Pinehurst, and I was there by myself for most of the trip. And I would go to the place, the Villager, in the morning for breakfast or lunch. I go there a lot, and it's they got outdoor seating. And I'm there. I think it was for lunch. I'm there literally by myself. And they got a lot. They probably got 12 tables outside of the patio and the sidewalk and the whole deal. And I'm sitting at one by myself. And the guy's probably 5 spots over. So there's a couple things in between us. But he kind of recognized me. He looks over and we make eye contact. He's like, you're the Barstool, you're Riggs? And I was like, yeah. But again, it's not like we're right next to each other. We're probably 30 feet away, and there's like 3 or 4 tables. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I'm a big fan. I'm like, thanks a lot. He's like, oh, you come here a lot? I'm like, yeah, I like coming here, whatever. And then he's like, he waits, and about 15 seconds later, we kind of make eye contact again. He's like, are you eating alone? And I was like, yeah, I'm just grabbing lunch real quick. And he's like, can I join you? And I was like, no, like I didn't know what to say, but I legit was just like, I'm sitting there, dude, I'm on my phone. I'm like promoting stuff on Twitter and trying to catch up. And I just was like, I didn't say no, but I said like, no, I'm kind of in a rush. And I hadn't even ordered yet. And the guy, and But I just
So bizarre.
I felt so bad. And I went by his table after and was like, "Oh yeah, you from around here?" And tried to chit chat with him for 30 seconds or something because I felt so bad. But like, no, I'm not going to eat lunch alone with a stranger. I don't want to do that. I'm sorry.
You have so much more like that guy. Him and I are eating lunch together. Me and that guy, no doubt about it, dude. I just don't have it in me to say no.
I really, like, yeah, come on. What do you need? Like, you want cheese on the side?
I'm asking him. I know what his favorite color is by the end of that lunch. Like, I just can't, because I can't live through the awkward moment of saying no.
Dude, it sucked, and I really did feel horrible, but I also was like, there's no way I couldn't wait to eat by myself. I was so excited. And like I said, I'm sitting there, I'm on my phone, I order, I'm just quiet, I'm alone. And the whole thing would have been, a lot of like surface level, obviously, conversation of like, "Oh, do you really like Pinehurst? I love Pinehurst. You've been coming here since whenever." "Yeah." How'd you get into Barstool and the whole deal? And I just was like, no, I'm just not gonna do that.
Incredible will and incredible ability to do that.
It was tough,
He was
man.
also like the most friendly person in the world. And Trent and I were talking about this yesterday. I fly a lot with Brendan Jones. I've never seen a person get in more conversations on airplanes than Brendan Jones. I looked over yesterday. It was like a 2.5 hour flight. He's just a nice guy. I was like a 2.5 hour flight probably from PBI to LaGuardia, and he was talking to someone for a long time. And every time I looked over, he was talking and smiling. And we get to the baggage claim, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got tied up in it." I was like, "Yeah, I saw you." And I turn around, she goes, "There she is." And it's an attractive older woman. And I go, "She's kind of cute." He goes, "Yeah, obviously."
Well, Brendan's a good-looking guy.
He's like, "Why else would I be?" He's like, "Why else would I be talking to her for 2.5 hours?"
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's a completely fair reaction.
Brendan's happily married or getting married, but he's just, he's an approachable character. He's got a beautiful face and a nice affable demeanor, and people like to talk to him on airplanes.
Like a week ago, I took a flight and I was way in the back. I was in like 35A, like in the window seat, and I crammed my shit in there, and I'm one of the first people on, so it takes a while. And then two folks come in, and the lady sitting in the middle seat, puts all her stuff in, sits down, and then she just looks at me and just goes, "Hi." And I was like, "Hello." And that was the only thing she said the whole time. It wasn't like a precursor to, sometimes people will be like, "Hey, I know it's a long flight. If you need to get to the bathroom or anything, don't be afraid. Just let me go," or something, whatever. She literally just said the word "hi" and then just looked back forward, and we didn't converse the rest of the entire trip, which is nice.
There is an etiquette with air, and I tweeted this the other day, and it has nothing to do with us being known public people to like a very small degree. It's just, if we sit next to each other on a plane and we just kind of do what that lady did, but you don't interact too much, and like maybe you share a phone charger. I said that in the tweet too, and then we never see each other again. Like, you're my brother, and you're like a functioning member of society that I respect.
That's right. All right. Cool. I think we're done. Closest to the pins are in. They're locked. We'll get the graphic out there. Go watch stuff on YouTube. Please subscribe to Foreplay channel. It's going to be bigger than the PGA Tour, so make sure that you're on the forefront of that movement. And yeah, we'll be back over the next Tuesday.
There's a sandwich shop. There's a sandwich shop in New York City that I had in Italy that I just found out is in New York City that, Trent, you're going to have to go to, and Dan, you might have to hit before you go out to LA.
What's it called?
The Al Antica or Al Antico. It's a panini shop that is in the heart of Rome and Florence, and the lines are insane in Rome and Florence, and they just opened one up in New York City, and apparently it's just as good. I don't know. Someone at the Islander game told me last night.
It's a chain?
Well, they just opened one up. It's not really a chain. I mean, yeah, I guess it's
Trent's moving back to the city. Is that public info? Are we going to cut that?
Oh, wow.
No, we don't have to cut that.
Trent's moving back in the city.
I am moving back into the city.
All the way into the city.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I
West
thought
Village.
About moving
like city.
I thought
city.
about moving to Queens, where our guy, affable Brendan Jones, is. But I figured if I'm going to go that far, I might as well just go in. All the way.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean?
All Antico Veneo.
Where is this thing?
It is in 8th Avenue, right in Times Square.
Damn, that's close to the
where
office.
you're going to live? Yeah.
Close to the office.
Yep.
I feel like we were just talking about Trent moving to Charlotte. Now he's moving to Manhattan, baby.
I know. Charlotte is the dream. I mean, we went down there. The lake is the dream. Living close to a lake is the dream. I talked about it on Barstool Radio the other day, and it was since Dave bought the company back, it's just like the company feels more cohesive, I guess is the word I would use, as opposed to us all just kind of doing our own thing. And I like being in the mix, so I get a little bit of both.
It makes sense. Yeah, I think the Charlotte talk was pre-Dave buying everything back, but
I think it was.
What is that, Lake Norman that's up there?
That's beautiful.
That's
it's so beautiful.
Great area.
I still might, a chunk of my year, I might try to find a lake I can go to, but my home base will be the city.
It's a good idea.
That'd be nice.
All right. We're out of here. Everybody have a delightful weekend. Thank you for listening. As always, go buy our merchandise, store.barstoolsports.com. We'll be back on Tuesday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard. Hit it hard.